All right, we got another correction officer video, man. I want to come on here and talk a little bit about burnout and corrections, trying to recognize the signs of burnout and, you're not your usual self. As correctional officers working in law enforcement or any type of law enforcement job, it's a highly stressful job. It has dangerous moments. You dealing with dangerous people. You dealing with a lot of mental stress in a sense that you have to always be vigilant, always have to be looking over your shoulders, always have to be alert. You never know what's going to pop off, what's going to happen working behind that wall. It could be a smooth day. You could be almost at the end of your shift, your tour of duty, and something pop off, man. A mass fight break out. Inmate gets stabbed. Inmate try to commit suicide. You just never know what's going to happen, so you have to have tools in your disposal to combat that constant stress, that constant staying alert, and you have to learn how to be able to turn it off, when you're not working inside the prison. You can't be in correctional officer mode 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, man. You're going to stress yourself out, and you putting a lot of unnecessary stress on yourself if you got that type of mindset, So let's get right into the video though, man. Yes, like I said, burnout and corrections is real. You got the mental demands of the job. You have the potentially dangerous side of the job. And then you have to factor in, as correctional officers in this day and age, a lot of us, we face having to work a lot of overtime. Some of us don't want to work overtime, but we still are getting hit with a lot of hours. So, that starts to add up. It starts to take its toll on us, So, these are some signs to recognize, if you are going through burnout and you're working in corrections. You're not doing your usual hobbies, stuff that you enjoy doing, in your life. If you're not doing that, you find yourself, you stop doing it, or you just, I don't want to do that no more and stuff. It may be a sign of burnout, like for me. If y'all see me not going to the gym no more, or it's like I'm taking weeks off at a time from the gym, then y'all need to check me, man. Yeah, something's wrong. Something up with dude, man. It may be the job, man. I'm letting the job get to me, man. I don't never want to get like that, man. You shouldn't either, man, because life is meant to do the things that you enjoy doing, So for me, I love going to the gym. I've been lifting weights, former college athlete. I've been working out for 22 years. So that's one of the main things I do as well, just to, keep my stress levels down. And it's something that I enjoy doing. I love going to the gym. If God willing, I'll never stop working out. I'm going to work out all my life. I started when I was 13 years old. I'll probably be an old man still trying to work out. If I could just do some calisthenics or push-ups, that's better than nothing, man. I'll be 80 years old still doing push-ups or pull-ups, God willing, man. This is the next thing. You start partaking in things that are detrimental to your health, man, like you drinking every day. I see a lot of people on my job, man, they develop drinking problems. I seen some people, it's like every day they get off of work, they damn near drinking a whole bottle of vodka, man, a 6-pack of beer. That's not good. It's not good in the long run, man. You have to find a more productive outlet. Drinking, doing drugs, smoking, stuff like that, man, it's not doing anything for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying not to enjoy yourself. I indulge. I have a drink here and there. I like to smoke cigars. I'm talking about when you start doing it every day. I seen people like that, man. They went downhill fast. It's like I seen one, man, and it's unfortunate with him, man. He's one of my good co-workers, man. He was a good dude. He ended up committing suicide, right? And he had a drinking problem. He was just like, every day I talked to him, we worked together for about 6 months to almost a year. He worked the unit next door to me on nights. And he was a good dude, man, solid dude. We had some great conversations. But, I came to realize that he had a drinking problem because it was like every day he was going home. He like, yeah, man, I'm probably finna go home, man, crack that bottle. I think he liked to drink vodka, or it was either that or Seagram's, gin. I can't remember. But it got to a point, man, he just stopped coming to work. He was going through some other stuff too, man. And I guess he was trying to cope with it by drinking alcohol every day. It's like there's no message in the bottle. You know, you may remember that movie, Message in the Bottle. Some people drink because they think it's a message in the bottle, man. You're not solving your problems, man. It's like you're just running from your problems, trying to escape reality when you do stuff like that. So you got to find a more conductive, productive outlet, man. I don't know, man. Read poetry, read books, write, journal your thoughts. You know, go see a therapist, go to the gym like I do, take a walk outside in nature, go out to eat. You know, spend time with your family. Love your family, man. Love your loved ones, man, you know, because we spend a lot of time away from our loved ones at this job, you know, especially us working overtime. You work a lot of hours like me, you know, you got to make time for the fam. You know, the weekends come around or, you know, your days off. Try to make it a family night. Y'all go out to eat, man. You plan y'all's vacations. You go somewhere and do stuff, man. Don't be like some of these people I see at my job. They're supposed to be on vacation, but they'll keep the vacation, but they'll end up coming into work every day that week and working overtime, man. Now, life is too short to do that. I understand the money's good, and I understand a lot of us have, you know, financial goals and marks that we're trying to accomplish in life, but we're going to be good, man. You're going to be good, man. You know, you don't want to get to the end and then look back and all you have to show for is that you just worked at the prison. You gave your whole life to the prison, man. So live life for today, you know. We still going to be good tomorrow. This is the next thing, man. You start exhibiting emotions outside of your character towards the inmates, your co-workers, your family, friends. You know, you realize you start lashing out. You become angry. You short temper. You come home from work and it's like you don't need to speak to the wife and kids or your husband and kids. You just go straight to your room, hop in the shower or something, and then lay down, stuff like that, man. That's a sign of burnout, man. You're going to have to change some things around. Maybe you need to take some time off. You know, maybe you going too hard with the overtime. You know, maybe you letting stuff outside your control get in your head. You know, the inmates at the end of the day working in corrections, the inmates are going to be inmates. You know, you can't control what they do, what they say to you. They're going to try to do everything they can to get under your skin, push your buttons, compromise you, and you can't even be mad at them because that's what they do, man. It's a part of the game. You got to accept everything that comes with working in corrections. Now, let's talk about some advice on dealing with the burnout. If you are going through burnout, working as a correctional officer, you know, always try to leave work at the gate. You know, that's one of the things, man, I learned early in my career. No matter what's going on, what happened that day, I could have had a bad day. Once I clock out, my relief shows up, I get relief, and I go through the Sally Port, man, it's done for the day, man. You know, I'm not going to let it live rent-free in my head. You know, I got to come out here in the real world, and I got to live my life still. You know, I can't let the prison live rent-free in my brain. I don't be thinking about corrections 24 hours a day. You know, only time I really be thinking about, you know, my job working in corrections really is when I make these videos for y'all to help y'all out, you know, the people that's coming into correction. Outside of that, I leave work at work, man. The prison ain't gonna burn down. It'll be there when I get back from my days off or when I come back from vacation, man. So it is what it is. This is the next thing, man. You know, take time off. Like I said, might need to take some time off if you really starting to get burnt out. You feeling tired, you sluggish, you like, man, it's like you you become a robot almost. Like, it's like you just go to work, come home, eat, sleep. You know, you got to break that cycle up sometimes, man. Take you a mental health day. You earned it. It's your time. You got sick leave, vacation leave. You know, you building it up. It's different for different agencies, but you know, like us, we get what, 4 hours of sick leave every paycheck, and I get 6 hours of vacation leave every check. So it builds up. If I need me a day, I'm gonna take a day, man. If I'm feeling tired, stressed out or something, man, you know, it rarely happens for me, but there's been times where I was like, man, I just need me a day, man. I just call in, you know. If they don't, I ask them, you know, I try to give them, you know, the heads up, you know, can I use a vacation day? You know, a lot of times they approve it. Sometimes they might not approve it because we don't have the bodies to approve it. So if I really need it, I'm going to take it, you know, because I'd rather, you know, prioritize my mental health and my well-being over going inside and being a liability, man. I'm burnt out. I'm crashed out. I got a short temper, man. I'm liable to flip out, man. Put hands on an inmate. you know, body slam and stuff like that, I'll just stay home, you know, get that rest, recharge, recuperate. This is the next thing, man. Sometimes a good night's sleep is all you need. That kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said, taking that personal time off. You know, maybe take you a day, you know, if it's going into your days off, maybe take a day on the weekend, get you a good night's sleep, man. Go out to eat, man. Enjoy yourself, you know, and get in that bed, get you some rest, man. Sleep, maybe even sleep in. You know, I'm the type of person, usually I wake up early, go to the gym, man, but sometimes, you know, I sleep in a little bit. You know, sleeping in for me may be different for you. You know, sleeping in to me is like waking up at like 9, 10 in the morning. But, you know, some days you just want to sleep in, recharge, man, because I know how it is, man. I've been working in corrections 14 years, man. A lot of us, we money hungry, we hustling, we working all these extra hours, man. So it starts to catch up, man. You got to balance it out. You can't burn the candle at both ends of the stick, man. You know, eventually you're going to crash out. This is the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with. I'm going to close the video out. Don't let stuff that you cannot control, you know, stress you out. You can't control what an inmate does, what they say. You can't control what coworker, you know, doesn't like you, you know, workplace politics, the good old boy club. You can't control if you put in for a job at your prison, you didn't get selected for the job. None of that stuff you can control, man. You just got to keep going, keep showing up, focus on what you can control. With me, I know I can control how I run my unit that I'm working, you know. I know I can control, you know, what I like and what I don't like to see when I'm working on the unit. The inmates know what your pet peeves are, you know, the things that you're a heckler about, you know. If you don't like them working out the day room or walking around, if you a lady, female officer, you don't like them walking around without their shirt off, you know, coming from the shower, you know, they know what it is, man. You know, that's stuff that you can control. If you can't control it, don't let it stress you out, man, because it's just unnecessary drama, unnecessary stress, and it's just living rent-free in your head, festering in your head, and it's just building up, man. It's like a clamp. It's clamping down tighter and tighter and tighter on you, man, until you know, man, it's got a complete hold on you. Y'all like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. I got the merchandise for sale. This one of my shirts right here, Pac-Man, the haters, man. I got hoodies, t-shirts, snapback hats for sale. Shop with me on my website. Y'all got any input, thoughts, comments on this video? Drop a comment. I'll be sure to get back with you as soon as I can. Y'all know how we coming. Let's get motivated.